Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme: Hearts signed former Celtic striker Tony Watt on a season-long loan deal. Meanwhile, the Tynecastle owner Anne Budge has been voted onto the SPFL board alongside Hibs chief executive Leanne Dempster. And Celtic prepare to fly the flag tonight against the Lincoln Red Imps in the Champions League qualifier. Just a few of the topics we'll be discussing. Alan Ruff is alongside me here, and we discussed it last night, Roughie, as a possible. Now it's confirmed. Watt is a Hearts player.
Yeah, I think it's a great signing. It's a young man who's got a lot to prove. When you say Tony Watt, you think of the goal he scored for Celtic against Barcelona. Not a lot after that, because he's obviously been about clubs here and there. So this is a chance for him to establish himself at Hearts, and I think if they can stay away from injuries and get back to the form that he had, Gordon Strachan obviously included him in the Scotland squad. I think it's a good loan sign.
Yeah, and listening to him today, I get the feeling that this constant being shunted from pillar to post hasn't really suited him. Maybe this could be something with a view to a permanent deal if he hits the ground running.
Yeah, unfortunately he's been tarnished with this, the player who...
Bad boy image.
Yeah, and maybe he just needs somebody to put an arm around him, show him in the direction. He's still young enough yet to establish himself in the game, and this could be the kickstart for him. I think if he's got a lot of pace, he knows the route to goal, he can score goals, so again, good signing.
Yeah, of course, Hearts have been very busy, bringing in players. I think still looking at trying to get a defender as well. It's going to be hard for them to try and better what they achieved last season, but you certainly wouldn't rule them out third or better.
No, if they continue in their upward spiral that last year we didn't know where they were going to end up.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, well, you to a mass, you did first top three. If they can build on that, and the way they're going just now, they're adding players here and there. They've also let two young players go, really, really good young players go, so they must have really good players coming through.
Yep. As far as the SPFL is concerned, Roughie, there was the meeting to elect the board members, and finally, after last year's disappointment, Anne Budge is on that board.
Yeah, fresh ideas. I think, without naming names, I think there are people on committees far, far too long. I think sometimes I don't know what the span they have, maybe it's 3 or 4 years, but certainly I think you need new people on boards, to bring new ideas in, and certainly the two ladies that are going in there certainly have lots of ideas and can only help the game.
Yep, I think we've been very, very positive about Anne Budge and what she offered last season. Certainly the way Hearts conducted themselves, I thought was very, very positive. And knowing the other lady at Hibs as well, Leanne Dempster, I rate her very highly. I think she also has handled her role at Hibernian.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask anything about the in the game, what they've done to the particular clubs they've been at, everything's positive. They've always got something to say, and I think you need something like that on the board. You need people. I'm not just saying because they're women. We want them on the board. We want them on because of their football and knowledge and what they can bring. Yeah,
and of course the business knowledge as well, because Anne Budge has again reiterated today the need for clubs to engage more with the supporters, and the need for the SPFL to try and get the message out there to get more and more people coming back to the game.
Yeah, I think the initial problem we had, that there was obviously the main two dictating, everything that was happening in the game, and that's changed now for whatever circumstances, and they have identified that. And I think the basic thing is trying to get everybody around the table and everybody pulling in the right direction rather than one or two going in an opposite one.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen them ditch the 11-1 vote, Roughie. That's still in place at times, so it's very difficult if you wanted some kind of radical change for the betterment of all rather than one or two clubs.
No, I think the League Cup's a start. I think it's a new competition. Okay, it's in its early stages. People have still got to buy into it, but if that's the way we're going, we're bringing in new things for the fans, I'm sure the fans will be the ones that will benefit at the end of the day.
Yeah, might as well tell you Leanne Dempster's there, and Budge, Eric Drysdale, Ken Ferguson, Neil Doncaster and Ralph Toffing, obviously, Peter Lawwell and Ian Maxwell, a guy you know well at Partick Thistle.
Yeah, congratulations to Ian. He's worked very, very hard to get where he is, and main focus in Partick Thistle, all the new ideas that are coming in, Ian's right at the front of it. And again, it's a young guy going in there with fresh ideas.
And as ever, when we always try to look for a negative headline in this bit of news that came out today, no Stephen Thompson. Do you think this is just a sign that, apart from anything else, not only is he not in that inner circle, could it be that, slowly but surely he might want to get rid of Dundee United and might come out of it completely?
Yeah, I think, he's indicating, that he's wanting to have clubs elsewhere and that kind of thing, so maybe the people who decide who go on these boards have decided that they want people who are going to be permanently fixed and helping Scottish football.
Okay, just thought I'd lead you into that to see if you were going to say anything controversial, but some things don't change from last season. He dodged it nicely. Lots to talk about, as well as the Champions League to talk about, Roughie. Just quickly, we'll touch on another signing that was made today, or confirmed at least today, Joe Dodu for Rangers. Now, we discussed the fact that they've been able to get Tavernier on an extended deal, Wes Foderingham in there too, and Dodu comes from Leicester on a 4-year deal. I think they'll have to pay something like £250,000 worth of compensation.
Yeah, we spoke about it at the end of the season, which team was going to show their hand in signing and changes. And I have to say, Rangers have been up there well ahead of everybody else. We knew there was changes going to be made, but they haven't messed about. They've came in, they've brought in a lot of experience. Okay, some guys might say, 31, 37, but they've got all the experience in the world. And the manager has obviously identified that that's the kind of players that they want, maybe for 1 year or 2 years, and then go up a step. But certainly when you look at the team, it's very, very experienced and it looks quality.
I would counter that on both counts of the Celtic and Rangers, because there's a tit for tat with them here. It's seeing how they actually start to play under pressure. This is a big year. If anything, I get the feeling that at the moment Rangers are maybe a step ahead in trying to get a settled side quicker. I don't think there'll be too much more business done by Rangers before we get to the end. Maybe 1 or 2 additions, at a push. He's tried to get it done early, whereas Celtic are going to, the next 3 or 4 weeks is where I think a lot of Celtic fans are waiting to see, okay, you said you're going to try and get somebody in before the Thursday transfer deadline in European football, so they're trying to get Scott Sinclair in from Aston Villa, and they're also looking at a centre-half as well. Yeah,
I think, although I've said Rangers have done particularly well, they've done particularly well. It's easier bringing in players who you're not paying money for, players that are out of contract, but they still are quality players. I think the Celtic supporters will be hoping that the reason that Celtic aren't bringing them in is because they're going to be delving in money, $1 million here, $2 million there. So that obviously is harder to get over the line, but certainly after the result tonight, I think that's all Celtic supporters will be concentrating on, is who's coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit loath to mention anything, Roughie, about, this side have got the best signings, they brought in this, they brought in that, whether it's Celtic, Rangers, any other club, because if the evidence of, the last 20, 30 years and you considerably more, many a player looks good on paper until they get in there and do the business. And we've seen more than a few flops over the last few years who promised much and delivered little.
Yeah, I think that's been the fault in Scottish football. There's been a lot of clubs have went for names of experience of what they've done in the past rather than what they've done just now. But again, if you can get 1 or 2 of them that can benefit the bigger picture in the team and it works, why not? We just have to wait and see if it does.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that in mind, Rangers 2 good wins now in the League Cup. A 2-0 win over Annan. This was the team that got the victory last night, as you can see there, Roughie. I did mention to you last year, way at the start, that I think the Rangers side would change, considerably between, mid-season to what it would look like now, and you can see that transformation as again Mark Warburton tries to gear it up towards greater expectations in the Premiership.
Yeah, well, as I said, he's brought in experience. He's brought in the big boy Hill at the back. I think everybody was identifying the central part of the Rangers' defence was the weak link. Again, at the weekend, it was exposed a wee bit. But when you've got other players of that quality that you've just put up on the screen there, I think if you're a Rangers supporter, I think you'd be well pleased with what's been happening during the close season.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, coming up in the next part of the programme, we are going to talk, of course, Celtic against Lincoln Red Imps. We'll talk about the other three sides involved in European action on the Thursday as well. Aberdeen clearly unable to get over for the second leg on the scheduled flight because, would you believe, some birds flying into the engine of the plane, which has delayed them a considerable amount of time. Don't forget, you can interact with us, give us your thoughts on the programme and anything that's bugging you in Scottish football at Peter and Roughie on Twitter and facebook.com/Peter and Roughie. Join us after the break for more European football talk, and we'll have a look at those League Cup results. Welcome back to Peter and Roughie's Football Show. Delighted to have your company. The new season beckons, and of course we thought we'd just get you right in the mood if you're missing your football chat. Starting a wee bit earlier, catching some of the League Cup and of course some of the qualifiers for European football as well. Okay, Roughie, as far as Celtic are concerned, I don't think there can be any excuses, no slip-ups. Vyachenko looks as if he'll be okay to play, so I would imagine somebody's going to suffer on the back line who's not going to get selected from the start.
Well, I would like to hope, as the Celtic supporters would hope, that defence won't come into consideration tonight as far as Celtic's concerned. It should be one-way traffic. It should be get an early goal, settle down, get the fans right behind the team, and then go on and win the game. And I'm sure at this moment in time, 2 or 3-0 would be very, very grateful, but I think you've got to look for more than that after the poor result the other week there. I think you've got to set out a statement, and that was just a one-off, and this is the way we're going.
Yeah, I read a headline from an interview with one of the Lincoln Red Imps players, and of course, got to try and look for every little bit of information that could maybe hype it up a little, Roughie. But he suggested that you never know. It's 11 against 11, which is a bit of the cliche. He said, but if Lincoln Red Imps play to their full potential and have a fantastic night, and Celtic have an off night, you never know. And I looked at that line and I thought to myself, if Lincoln Red Imps play to their full potential and Celtic have an off night, Celtic should still win.
Yeah, I think everybody possibly said that last week as well, Peter. I think it was an incredible result. Obviously they'll go away and think about, it's all right blaming the park, but certainly there was enough quality on the park to win that game. Fair enough if you have 5 or 6 chances and you don't get the rub of the green. And then you go into this game and you take these chances to prove that everything you said in the last one was right. And the only way you do that is by winning 4 and 5 and 6-0.
I'm going to zip along to that match from our studios here this evening, Roughie, just to have a look. Not so much to get any great insight into individuals, more a case of to see how this team is transforming under Brendan Rodgers, his ideas, his style of play, the way he wants it, the way he wants the team to attack, how they line up when they've not got the ball, all those things, I think, even in this early embryonic stage, will be good to get a look at.
Yeah, I think unfortunately for the Celtic supporters, on paper and on the park, it's nearly going to be the same as last year. And we all know the Celtic supporters weren't happy at all. So it would have to be something like that. It'd have to be a new formation, a new attacking system, because it's going to be the same players, and a lot of them didn't come out of the season with a lot of glory. So unless he can find something, then I just think supporters want change, and there hasn't been change, and I think they need to do something very quickly.
Isn't it amazing that we're on a football programme? You said they came out of the season without a lot of glory, and they're unfurling the championship flag tonight.
Yes, and can I have to say, well done whoever decided to, Rosemary Burns and Wee Lemon, to do it, to great characters, and obviously with Tommy in mind as well. But no, that was a great thing. But you're right, but I think if you ask, it's okay winning the league and everything, but I think the Celtic supporters wanted change, and big change. That hasn't happened. That's not to say it's not going to happen, but certainly, as we all know, results sort of take your mind off of that kind of thing. So a good result tonight, and then as usual, sometimes they get somebody slips under the wire. That just to back up the result. Do you know what I mean? There's something
Yeah.
something that just happened.
I'm looking
Something
at you with
happened.
a 1,000-yard stare thinking, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about a good win tonight, 4 or 5-0 tomorrow. Oh, they'll have signed somebody. And then the next day, oh, sign somebody else. Oh, here's somebody else as well. That's the way.
I don't think we're too far away from that, because they're trying to get Scott Sinclair. They've had a few bids rejected. They're obviously going to have to stump up $3 million for him, and over and above that, I think it's fair to say that they're looking at a central defender as well. I think Jerry St Just and also Shane Duffy, just a couple of the names that have been mentioned. But until you actually see, I think that will happen before this Thursday transfer deadline.
That's all I'm saying is that's what the supporters are looking at. And the supporters, as we know, are the main people. You know, the Celtic have given them the standard area. It looks absolutely magnificent. I'd love to be there when the stadium's full for that one. But certainly they're still identifying players that they had last year that failed, that I don't think the supporters believe that this manager can make them better players than what they were last year.
Okay, well, I always believe that managers can make a difference, Roughie. Players are only human. They react differently to a different style, a different motivation. Would you not concede that?
No, I think if you've
if you're duff, you're duff.
No, if you've got the ability, if you've got the ability, you should be able to show it no matter what manager you've got.
Yeah. That doesn't really work out.
Not with everybody.
Does it?
No, not with everybody. No, I'm just talking about me. You know. I didn't.
You didn't respond to shouting.
No, I don't like shouting. No, somebody's shouting at me.
Right. Okay.
I'm just going to huff.
Anyway, don't I know it? Scott Sinclair, if they get him.
Good signing. That's the kind of signings that not the signings that the Celtic supporters were used to getting, but if you're coming down, you know, that's the kind of signings you're looking at, because people will remember what he's done in the English Premiership. That's a good signing. Okay,
I'm going to say 4-0 tonight. Anything less than I'll be.
Yeah, I mean 2-0. I mean, okay, 2-0 will be sufficient to go through, but I would think 3, 4 and 5 is what they'll be looking for. I'm going to go for 5.
You're going to go for 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's not bother betting on it. It's too early, Roughie. I think the end of August is when we've got to get our forfeit in place. Okay, the League Cup results. You mentioned you were going to look closely at St Mirren against Ayr last night. In the end, Alex side just edged it.
Yeah, but I think he's brought in some good players. I think they're on the up. I think they're going to be a good addition. Last year, obviously, we had Rangers, we had Hibs, we had Falkirk. I think teams the likes of St Mirren, and I'm keeping my eye on Dunfermline as well. Yeah. I think Dunfermline have made some good signings as well. I think they'll be able to shake up a few teams this year.
Yeah, I actually, you know, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing Ray McKinnon and what he does to Dundee United. You know, when you look at the two teams that potentially, for me, should be involved in who's winning the title, who's in the playoff, it should be Hibs and Dundee United. Without, you know, I'll wait till I see what the signings that every club makes before it. But I don't think I'll be veering too far away from that.
No, I don't think so. But again, you know, we saw what happened with some big teams who can't handle it's a new pressure they're under. They'll all want to go up first season, and that could add a lot. There's a lot of young players still at Dundee United, and he's going to go ahead with them. But I think it depends on how they start the season, and if they can get the fans right behind them. They had a reasonable crowd at the weekend, so they need to win games. Okay,
what about the Europa League then? Aberdeen, the last thing you want is birds flying into the engine. I think that scuppered the plane going over there. But nevertheless,
I would actually prefer that than the pilot's been half cut, really.
I wouldn't like to. I wouldn't like to talk about. I wouldn't like to discuss anything about anything that's happened in the last few weeks. Birds have denied. Birds have denied them the chance to actually take off. I don't think it'll matter. They're 3-0 up. Yeah. Derek McInnes has warned against complacency. If they lose from this one, we deserve to have a turn up on the manager's head in every player. It's not going to happen, is it?
No, I hope it's not going to happen. They need a positive start to that game, and they'll know going over there if they can get a goal. That's the tie finished. But I think they'll qualify for that one.
Neil Lennon said at the airport as the Hibs team flew out that he can't rule out Hibs pulling off a shock.
No, you can't. You know, if you go into the game, you know, and they could have an off night. But the record, the Brøndby record of 15 goals for and none against, doesn't he? Have high hopes for the Hibs, I think.
Yep, okay. Just a second night in the trot, you've absolutely annihilated any chance of Hibs getting there. And Hearts, we think, will get there easily enough.
Yeah, with the amount of chances they created in the first game, I think they'll be confident to go along there and get that win.
Just one other little note that I wanted to add to it all. A couple of things just to finish quickly. SPFL have not quite gone the full way that UEFA have, but asking the clubs to accept liability for the behaviour of their fans. I think they've done it to a certain degree, not the full way.
Well, it's a thing that, you know, from the outside looking in, you look at one supporter running on the park and the club gets fined 20,000, 30,000. It shouldn't be the case. You know, there should be the person who causes the problem that gets fined.
Okay, and the last thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, just it's a little footnote from Sporting Lisbon. Ryan Gauld has been loaned out to Vitória Setúbal in Portugal. He's lost his way in the couple of years over there. Doesn't feel as if he's moved on the way he should have. I hope he has not lost the football and his talent.
Oh, I don't think he'll have lost his talent. He's got an abundance of talent. It might just be the chance that he gets a chance to go into the first team, gets regular games, and then obviously they'll take him back again.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, thanks, Roughie. Always good to get a wee chin wag. We're just warming up really to some real ding-dong arguments. I can see it coming once we get the guests in and everything. From Roughie and myself, join us tomorrow and we'll reflect on Celtic's European adventure.